going on, guys? Achilles here, and I know it has been the longest time since I have put up a video. It's been almost exactly a week now, and you know, I felt bad. You know, I've just been extremely busy this last week and a half, something or so like that. You know, I've got intramural sports and you know, just fraternity stuff, school, trying to find a job and stuff like that. So, you know, I honestly have not had that much time to play for the entirety of this week, and just like last weekend or somewhere around there. But I got another Weakspots video for you guys here, and as you can see here, we are doing the Foch 155, the E-50M, and then we are going to be doing the IS-4 and the T110E4. So what I was doing here right off the bat is you're going to see that I was just kind of like shooting around the gun mantlet, which is not something you should do. But if you are at an angle like this, and you know, you have the angle on his gun mantlet, I just wanted to showcase that you can actually penetrate that. So, you know, if you get shot there and you don't see like any penetration marker on your viewport or the machine gun or whatever, you know, that's one of the spots that can be vulnerable if you're showing your side to any of the enemies. So, you know, here's the pretty basic spots here on the Foch 155. You saw the lower plate as well, but it's really small. It's really tough to hit at a distance. And then I would also like to reiterate that the Foch 155's viewport, like that huge long bar I'm looking at right now, only the middle part of it is a hitbox. The two sides, if you shoot it, it'll just soak it up. It doesn't do any damage. So if you do want to actually do damage by shooting the weak spot, you are going to want to shoot the viewport bar, or the middle of it. I would recommend shooting the machine gun more, just because it actually has it's only 100mm stick, whereas the viewport bar has some weird sloping towards the top end and the bottom end of it. So it does kind of get a little bit tricky if you do hit some weird angle on it. But, you know, and then the last little thing I showed you there is that the Foch 155 has really weak side armor. It's only 40mm thick, so if you can get even like the slightest angle like I did right there, you'll be able to just punch right through it. It's so easy. Now you're going to see here the E-50M. Now this isn't something that people really have issues with. It's just, I feel like it's one of those tanks that some people don't, like, some people really just don't utilize, you know, just all the spots that you actually can penetrate the E-50M. And as you saw there, while he was moving, I actually just shot his lower plate. You know, that's a pretty obvious weak spot on a German tank. So, you know, he's going to turn his turret around here in a second. And it's pretty much like the E-50M has an extremely strong upper plate, and that's pretty much all it has. You know, the lower plate's really weak. It doesn't have the best of side armor. And you saw there, that was a really weird bounce off the cupola there. It was probably just a really low penetration roll, and it hit some really weird angle. But second time's the charm there. So you can pen the cupola fairly easily, and then the front of the E-50M's turret is extremely easy to penetrate. If you have, say, over 220 penetration, it's extremely easy to go through. Now, the E-50M can side scrape quite well. It does have the same side armor as the Tiger II, which is not saying much, but it's still really strong for a medium tank. You know, I don't hate the E-50M. It's just I don't really see the point of it. You know, you have this pseudo armor that really only works if you're side scraping like you should be if you are on like a city map like this. But you know, pretty much your only reliable bouncing spot on the E-50M is either if you hit the gun shield or like the gun mantlet where it's all curved and rounded directly, or if you hit the upper plate. Pretty much everywhere else is a really easy penetrating shot. So, you know, it's not, I don't know, I don't really see the allure of it. I don't know why everybody likes it so much. You know, I know there's like, you can get the ramming speed and stuff like that, but you know, it's just, I don't know, stuff like that doesn't really just interest me. You know, I played probably about 150 games in the E-50M, somewhere around there, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not for me. But you're going to be seeing here, coming up next is the IS-4, and this is something that I feel like the IS-4 is one of those tanks that people have a lot of issues with. You know, the IS-4 has a lot of really strong suits, and you're going to see here, I'm just showcasing the upper plate on the IS-4, you actually can penetrate with with around 240mm of penetration. You can just shoot right through the upper plate of the IS-4. And you can see here, I'm trying to actually, I thought I could auto pen the top of the IS-4's turret with the 120mm gun on the 215B here, but it actually isn't a high enough caliber. If it was 121mm, it would go through, but it isn't, so it doesn't go for the complete overmatch. But you're going to see here, I shot the top of the turret. That's an automatic overmatch for anything over 90mm. It's a really, really easy penetrating shot, or it's 40mm, so if you have a 120mm gun, it's going to go through like butter. With HE, it just doesn't work. And you're going to see here, what I'm trying to showcase here is that the IS-4's side armor, you know, there is a point at which the IS-4's lower plate and the not the lower plate, the front hole and the side hole, if you angle it enough, that both of them will be bounce zones. And as you can see here, he swung his hole out extremely far, and you're still bouncing off of it just because you have to shoot through those tracks and the 160mm side armor, or 160mm side armor thick hole there. So it's really, really, really thick. The IS-4 side armor is extremely good, which is pretty much what that tank is made to do. You know, it's perfect for side scraping. It's perfect for rear side scraping. And as you can see here, I'm pretty sure we found the optimal angle at which even the lower plate and the side armor, if he's over angled like this, it is still a bounce zone. So if you are an IS-4 driver, this is your prime angle that you want to be at right here, just because the IS-4 is extremely good in a situation like this. As long as the person that's fighting you isn't face hugging you and doesn't know about the top of your turret. But you know, I've seen more and more that people actually do start shooting that more. So you know, you saw where I shot him right there with the APCR round. That's around 290, 300mm thick. So the IS-4's collar right there is extremely thick if you are front facing. But if you don't actually have APCR loaded, good luck penetrating that. But as you can see here, the T110E4, this is a very, very easy tank to kill. You know, its counterpart, the E3, it's like night and day. They're both like the E3 is so much more difficult to penetrate reliably as compared to the E4. As you can see, the machine gun is a very good weak spot, as well as the turret cheek you saw right there. I shot right through, and surprisingly, for those of you who didn't know, the E4's gun mallet is extremely weak. If you are shooting like a high penetration APCR round, you can just shoot right through it. You know, it kind of does make the E4's armor null, and you know, the lower plate and the corners, they're like the E4 it's pretty much a T110E5 hull with the weak E4 turret, which has just so many weak spots on it. So the E4 is a very easy tank to kill. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update and see what's going on, and then do a video for you guys. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'll keep you guys in the loop, but this has been Achilles, and I'll catch you guys later.